So this is a mini scale brushless system for your little crawler, and today we're going to install it, test it and have some fun. I have never actually heard of this company, so I'm pretty interested to see how it's going to work. The company is called Secure, and this system is called the ANT ESC and Motor with the Wi-Fi adapter. And just so you know, this video is sponsored by Secure, so thank you so much for helping out the channel. Moving over to the Secure website, we can see that this company mostly makes stuff for drones, but also kayaks and other things like that. That's why I probably haven't heard of them. As I said, my brushless system is for mini crawlers, so it's suitable for cars between 1/24th scale and 1/16th scale. Of course, it is fully waterproof and there's bearings all around. And you can buy it with this Wi-Fi adapter that lets you adjust all of the settings on your phone or on your computer, which is really cool. The ESC is 2 to 3S LiPo, which is perfect because my TRX4M comes with a 2S battery. And overall, the system is just tiny. Just look at it compared to the original Traxxas stuff. A few benefits of upgrading to a brushless system is that the car is very controllable, lots of low down control, and it just works a lot better. It should also have more torque and maybe sometimes more top speed. And some other specs that I don't really understand, but you probably will. The ESC is 50 amps and the motor is 3,500 kV. I don't know what that means, but I guess you will. But enough technobabble, let's actually look at the things. So right off the bat, you can see that this ESC is just tiny. So is the motor. This is good because that means that maybe we can fit more things and it'll be easier to kind of move around in there. But still, these are so small. This is the Wi-Fi link. I'm guessing that goes into this cable on your ESC. And you have a USB-C connector there to plug into your computer. In the box you also get some 3M double-sided sticky tape, some cable adapters, and some golden little pinion gears. So I'm guessing we're gonna have to put them on. This is the car that I'm gonna install everything on. This is my TRX4M Bronco. It is basically 100% original, just the servo here is different and there's a light kit inside. Except that it's basically 100% original. So to start off, we're definitely going to need to take off the ESC, which means unplugging all of these different cables. Just like that. And unscrewing two little screws. ESC is out, now let's get the motor. And I'm guessing it's these 4 screws to take off the entire gearbox, and then we can unscrew the motor from the gearbox. There we go. Now this should hopefully lift out. Or not. So let's get the battery box out. And hopefully now it should. Yep, there we go. Now we've got to remove this cover to unscrew the motor from the inside. Last thing to unscrew is this drive shaft here. And once that screw is out, everything should just come apart. Beautiful. Now we have to take these gears out, but just have to try to remember how they were in here. Inside we have 2 screws that we also need to take out. Then we just cut a zip tie. And a few more zip ties. And now we could probably remove the motor. Now it's time to install this one, and everything's the same, so I'm just going to show you when I'm finished. It's about half an hour later and the motor is in. It was quite a bit of work, mostly because I forgot that we have to put the pinion gear on, and we had to heat that up and then hammer it on, so that was pretty stressful. But it's in now, so you can see the motor is tiny compared to the old one. The wire is not quite long enough to go through the battery box like the other ones, so I'm just going to reroute it through here somehow. But overall, it was pretty easy. Next, let's glue this thing down and then go find the receiver. And I think I'm just going to try and put it here where the old one was. I think before I glue it down, I should find the receiver so I can find the best position, how they should be in. I found this, a Traxxas TRX receiver, which means that I can still use my original controller. And I think the best way to mount it is to shove the receiver in between the shock towers and then glue the ESC to the side of the receiver. It's probably not the neatest way, but that's all that I can come up with. And if you just shove the receiver in between the shock towers, it is actually in there very well. So there's no need to glue the receiver down as well. And now, just need to tidy up all of these wires. There we go, cables are looking a lot better. I think we're nearly ready to test it. Last thing we need to do is plug in the battery, and for that I have this adapter here, which should plug into here. And then I have to neaten all of these cables up now. Now we're finished. That does look a little bit crazy, but I think we're ready to test it. Here I have my original Traxxas 2S LiPo. This is what comes with every TRX4M. And controller on. And let's plug this boy in. Nothing's happening. Oh, there we go. The lights are on. We've had a little ringtone. We have to bind our controller. The throttle works, but we don't have any steering, so I'm gonna try and sort that out. Well, that was a rookie mistake. I had all the cables the wrong way. But look at it now. If we turn it on here, short press, turns on really nice. And look at this control. That is just incredible. So I got my TQ controller to work in the end, and it just is so precise. See, that's moving. The car is driving right now. You can barely even tell. Wow. You can see the outboard motor in there turning. Super controllable. I mean, it's just really impressive. I just threw it out onto the ground, and it is going super slowly, and then it's also very fast. That is way faster than it was before. Whoa. I have to say, the control on this is incredible. You can barely even tell that the car is moving half of the time. That is just so slow. It even sounds pretty cool. Listen to this. I think we should set up a little track and compare it with my other TRX4M. This one has the original system, and it's going to be interesting to see how well it's going to drive. Okie dokie, the track is set up. The cars start here. We've got a little seesaw bridge, then some stones and an iceberg. I'm just keeping it nice and simple so that it's easy to understand how good this brushless system is. Starting off with the brushless TRX4M. Can you tell it's moving? Because I can barely tell, but it is. I'll go a little bit faster just to get to the bridge. It's so quiet as well. Straight up, beautiful control. And over. There we go. Now the stones. Once again, it is barely moving. It is pushing the rocks away. It's got the torque to do that at such a low speed. Wow. Just barely going up. This brushless system has just turned the car into a completely new vehicle. Just very slowly creeping over the stones. And when I say creeping, I mean it is literally creeping. That front wheel is barely moving. Onto the next stone. See, it is cogging a tiny little bit, but just a little bit more throttle and it gets out of it. Now it's going to go off the stones and into the iceberg. Incredibly controlled. You can see the smallest movements of every wheel. That's awesome. Touching onto the iceberg, pushing it a little bit. Oh, it's going up now. I've got to get the perfect line through this. It can get caught up on the differential. Oh no, messed up. Just back up easily and up again. There we go. Beautiful. I know the high trail is definitely not original. It has lots of scale upgrades which are not going to help in this test, but it's just to show how controlled the cars are. And you can already see it stopped on the carpet. Yeah, not very controlled there, is it? You have to push a lot more throttle to get the car to move, which makes the movements very janky. And yeah, it will do the entire course, of course, but it's just not got the same level of satisfaction as that one. Back here. Now I am trying to do this as slowly as I possibly can, just like I did with the Bronco, but it's just not really possible with this one. Now let's do a 1v1 speed test. Whoever can go the slowest wins. So I'm going to try and get the same amount, just slowly adding power. Oh, the Bronco's already going. The Chevy is only kicking in now. Yeah, you can see the difference. That is the lowest it will possibly go. And if it comes up to any obstacle, it's just going to stop. The Chevy will. And the Chevy's already off the screen. It is just incredible to me how it can go so slowly. It is just barely moving. You can see the motor through the windows spinning around, and the car is just barely creeping up. I know I'm saying this a lot, but this car is like a completely different car. It's not like a TRX4M, it's just different. I think if you want to upgrade something, then this is probably the thing that you'd want to do. It's one of the more expensive things, but I think it will make a huge difference. The TRX4M High Trail would have done this track like 10 times in the time that this one can do it in once. One more test. I want to see how long it's going to take the Bronco to go from here to here when I'm trying to go as slow as it possibly can. And then let's do it this again with the High Trail and see how much slower the Bronco actually is. The Bronco with the brushless system is going up first. Let me just get lined up. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, it just crossed the finish line. That's how long it took. Now let's do it with the High Trail. There is going to be a huge difference. Starting now. This is the slowest that the Traxxas can possibly go. Now if there's like a matchstick or something in front of it, it's gonna stop because it doesn't have the torque to go over it. So yeah, there we go. So the High Trail done it in about 15 seconds and the Bronco done it in about 135 seconds. Meaning that the Bronco is 9 times slower than the High Trail. That is crazy. Last thing to do is check out this Wi-Fi receiver thingy. So I've got my Apple MacBook, hopefully it's going to be compatible. Considering that it is a Wi-Fi connector, I think we should plug it into the ESC. So we have to take out the ESC wire. And I'm guessing that we just plug this baby in. There we go. Looks like we have a little red light there. Nothing's showing up on the computer, so let's try and connect the USB-C. A Wi-Fi network has just shown up. I connected to it and look at this, we have a whole selection of different things. There is actually lots of stuff to change here. But you can change the drag brake power here, different settings. This looks like something very interesting. It's awesome that you can do this on your computer as well. Look, I've got my car here. And if you just look here, you can see I'm sliding this dial to the right and the motor is spinning up. And you can see live all of the volt consumption, amps, everything, temperature. That is just incredible. While the wheels are just slowly spinning, you can see all of the different parameters here. Then if I move this up, that is awesome. I have never seen anything like that, but I can already tell you I am really impressed. It also looks like you can put your own music into here. You can save the volume, the sounds that it makes. This is just awesome. You can also switch to the next page, the firmware. And again, a few things that I don't really understand, but you can update the firmware here. I figured out the music command. If I just type some letters into here, like A, E, A, E, see? And then we look at the car and I hit play. so you can make your custom sounds. That is awesome. The best that I was able to program was probably this one. I can't wait to test these cars more, especially this one. Maybe some other obstacles, a track or something, but there's no more time for that today, so we'll have to do that next day. Which means for now, that is sadly all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you Sequre so much for sponsoring me with this system. I really appreciate it. And if you, one of my awesome viewers, wants to see more of me, then I have a Patreon set up. There's some behind the scenes stuff, some other extra clips, unedited videos. You can go down and see that in the description. But for now, that's all. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.